Well, good morning, boys and girls. We're going to do something a little different today. Something I love doing, something I haven't gotten a chance to do in quite a long time, and that is go check out a new lake. So I've got a tournament here. It's a big benefit tournament in about 5 weeks. So I'm way early, but I got a day that it's not going to break 100 according to the forecast. Got a little overcast skies. And by the way, I'm on Lake Granbury. I have never laid eyes, I've never even driven across Lake Granbury before. So it's a whole different thing to me. What I have done in preparation for this is basically check the lake level. It's about 2.5 feet low. I've looked at a little bit of maps on my Navionics maps. I just sat at the ramp just now and kind of looked over the lake map itself. I've set my Humminbird 2.5, well actually 3 feet low, because the lake's about 2.5 feet low. It's a river lake. It's not real big. I think it's a little bit over 8,000 acres. And I'm gonna kind of start today. I'm just here at Rough Creek, and I'm gonna run to the far end of the lake. I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna run, I don't know how far I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run till it's just river, and probably a few miles past where it's just river. Kind of get a sense of the lake, and then probably pick up a rod and start fishing my way back down. I'm not really as concerned today about finding fish, because there's no sense in it. It's so far out. And I just talked to this young man in this skeeter over here. There's a top 6 tournament here coming up. But I am concerned, well, there's some fish. I am concerned about seeing the lake, seeing, you know, kind of the different sections of the lake, the water clarity, water temps, cover. There's a lot of boat docks, just kind of all that stuff. So I'm gonna scope it out. Got my life jacket on, got the big Merc running, and let's take a little ride around Lake Granbury, and I'll walk you through what I see as the day, and then we're gonna get back down here hopefully the weekend before, or a couple of days before this benefit tournament. It's a fun and sun tournament. I'll put the details down there below. I think it's full, but talk a little bit about what we're going to fish, or we'll come back and we'll do a hard practice once we get back down here. So let's check it out. There's the channel. My boat won't be jack plate is all the way up. Okay, so sort of first blush, the lake is really disorienting, or maybe I'm just disoriented. I put in at Rough Creek and came out and turned and thought I was going up the river. And I thought I'm just gonna run till it just becomes river. And I hate admitting this, but 12.5 miles later, 12.4 miles later, I come upon the dam. So I have run basically the length of the lake, come to find out. I sat back down, and again, I just sort of made an assumption when I came out of there, where I was and which direction I was going, and just got completely disoriented. So 12.4 miles from Rough Creek this way is the dam. One thing I've noted is the mouth of every inlet, which is just intuitively where I would want to start fishing. There's not a ton of boats on the water, but there's somebody on almost every one of those as I ran by them. So probably not a lot of secrets here, but I'm gonna fish a little bit now and start fishing back that way, because I think I've got a lay of the lake, and I'm gonna hit some of that same stuff just because that's what appeals to me. I'm gonna hit, there's a little ramp here, there's some boat docks on a little point. I've got a couple of crankbaits out. I'm about to dig out a topwater, and I'm gonna dig out a, I just got a feeling this lake looks like a lake, a lot of the Oklahoma lakes where you catch a lot of fish on a biffle bug. So I'm gonna dig a biffle bug out as well. And actually, probably more likely, I'm gonna throw that little Rage minnow scrub, and we'll check it out and see what that does. So stick around, we're gonna do a little fishing, see if we can get a couple bites. I'm kind of continuing to work my way down the lake. I fished a couple of docks, a couple of brush piles, where the water used to go into the old power plant here. It's a deep channel running in there, and there's some fish scattered through there, but I couldn't get them to bite. I'm gonna say there's every chance they're sand bass or stripers based on what I saw, the way they're setting up and the way they're kind of moving around. But I've come down here now, and I'm just fishing my way back up the lake. A little lay down on the secondary point there, and I had a fish on. I didn't see the fish. It certainly didn't feel like much, but I had a brim bite on the prior lay down and had a bite on that one. So keep doing that, keep flipping these docks. It's interesting that a lot of these docks, although they don't stick out very far, have a lot of water depth under them. They've got, you know, 8 to 15 feet of water out off the ends of them. So there's some good deep dock fishing. I gotta think as this cools off, if it cools off in the next month at all, there may be some really good walkway fishing here too. So that's something I'm kind of keeping my eye on. Anywhere I see some trash up under a walkway or something that's kind of different or unique, I'm dropping a waypoint on it just to remind myself to look at it when I'm back down here in a month. So, and to that point, I do drop a lot of waypoints when I practice, especially practice like this. When I come back, I would actually flip this same stuff again with a beaver or with a worm of some kind, and no hook, and mark all those bites. I could come back and feel like I've got kind of fish pinpointed. That's an old Dickie Newberry trick that I continue to do after the years of fishing with Dickie. So I'm gonna keep fishing. For today, I'm pulling anything that bites. So anything that bites, I'm gonna show you guys. Gotta find another one. You know, one other thing I'd probably add is, for sake of time, my preference is to throw a moving bait. You know, probably today a crankbait or a chatterbait. Or even a topwater bait, but I've thrown them a bunch and have not had a wave on them. So I'm gonna slow down a little bit, flip on some of this stuff. You can cover a lot more water, obviously practicing. I'm not trying to catch every fish, but if you can't get bit on a moving bait, you got to slow down and pitching bait. So that's what I'm doing. Not much to him, but that was on the very next dock. Really nothing to him, but that was on the next dock. So. Well, that one was on a corner on a walkway, 17 feet of water. I would have expected something bigger than 8 inches right there. But she said. He thumped it, swum off with it. But he was no size at all. Well, he was in a prime location. That's a little scary if that's the apex predator on that dock. That's the best spot on that dock, and I got an 8-incher thing. Guys, in the interest of guys coming back down here somewhere in the future watching this video, so I'm gonna say kind of mid-lake. I'm right off the buoy. The lake's 2.5, 3 feet low, and you could see, I mean, that's not 50 yards off that buoy. There's timber all through this section of the lake, and it's that concrete timber. It's that stuff that you hit it don't give. So Just be careful up here. Really stay to these buoys, especially when the lake gets back to pool, because those would be really dangerous once the lake gets back to pool, because they're going to be just under the water, about propeller deep is the way I'd put that. Guys, as I was editing this, I thought, well, I wonder how much the lake has really come up, or how fast it can come up. You can see that's 24 hours. That's a half a foot that lake has come up. Sunday the 21st it started raining, and it's now, I'm editing this on Monday afternoon the 22nd, and you can see it went from about 690.50 to about 691.15ish. That's pretty remarkable in a day, and that'll put a lot of that dangerous stuff onto the water really quick, and I imagine also has put a lot of color in the lake too. For the third time today, I caught a fish with the damn camera off. It's been raining off and on, so I keep putting the camera up and I get it back out. But that was a little old keeper. Oh, that's a brand new, it's called a football Ned rig from 6 cents. Just putting it on a Zoom finesse worm and pitching it around pilings. And it's a little old keeper. I caught another keeper flipping a dock earlier, nothing special, but in the rain. And then I pulled a keeper, I think it was maybe a fish close to 3 pounds off a laydown on a spinnerbait. And the only reason I picked it up is one of those little squalls blew through and it got windy and it was raining pretty good. And by the way, I have a very, very nice Bass Cat gill rain suit, 200 miles that way. But it got a little rain there for a few minutes, and I picked up a spinnerbait and missed one and caught one and caught a striper on it too. So. But the one I didn't catch, I pulled to the top of the water, and it was a solid 2.5 pound, maybe 3 pound fish. So the water temp is like 84, 85 degrees. So although you get out on a day to day when it's not that hot and think, oh, fall's here, fall's not here, these fish are still fully in the summer doldrums. It's still hot as blazes in the water, you know, 84, 85 degrees. I think the fishing will improve tremendously if this water will cool down into the mid-70s in the next 4 weeks, which, you know, I don't know. It's been 100 degrees, and a lot of times you'll still see hundreds into late August, early September, so we'll just see. But I've run the whole lake. I've looked at a bunch of it. It's interesting. You've got pretty clear water yonder way, and then the further this way you go, the more off color it gets till it gets pretty dirty. And I talked to a local I talked to a local, and he said the same thing I had heard from several other people, and that was any of these little rains like this can really dirty this water up quick on the Brazos, which is the river that makes up Granbury. So, and you know, if that happens, you just got to get dirt shallow if you get the water getting off color. So I'm gonna fish a little bit more. I had planned to fish till about 2. I've had to take shelter twice from the rain, and I got rain back here behind me again, so it may get me again, but I'm gonna keep at it and see if I can catch a few more fish. All right, so I call that a scouting trip, not a pre-fishing trip. So I'm headed back to Rough Creek here. I really accomplished what I wanted to do. And by the way, you're going to see here in a second, this lake has more pontoon boats, overloaded pontoon boats, and wake boats and everything else than I've seen in a long time. But I mean, it sets up beautifully for that, right? Because it's narrow and it doesn't get real rough. But it does get these rollers on it, and there ain't no getting around them. But you know, I accomplished what I wanted to. I got to come down here. I got to see basically the whole lake. I got to see kind of the structure and the layout. And I have some confidence now when I go back of sort of how I want to approach the lake. I will do more sort of online looking, see if there's any good videos. I've looked quite a bit, and I really hadn't found much on Granbury. But we'll come back down here in a few weeks, get a good, solid, full practice day as we get closer to this tournament. And hopefully we can figure something out and do well, and we'll take you guys along for the ride. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all here in a week.